So I was scrolling around on the internet and I came across some videos talking about r/atheism, the subreddit on, the website Reddit. And I don't think I've ever been there before. Everyone was talking about how it's like a bunch of pseudo intellectuals who don't know what they're talking about, or they're just fucking dumb and all this shit. And I decided to give it a look. To preface this video, I'm an atheist, okay? So don't try to contort this into some epic Christian guy owning all the stupid little atheists, okay? Because I'm an atheist too. Now, let me tell you, this is some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever read, ever. Like, some straight, silly, goofy cartoon shit. So, let's take a look at some of these posts here. The first one, it's only a fine line between being religious and having a mental illness. If you have a voice in your head, it depends on what you call it. Call it God and you're religious, but call it a friend and you're having a psychosis. How is that seen as common sense in Christian circles? Okay, I've never heard of anyone calling a voice in their head God. That's news to me, okay? My wife's family is Christian. My wife is Christian. I've never heard anyone on my wife's side of my family call their voices God. I've never heard of any of them having voices in their head to begin with. But I've never heard anyone that I know, as a matter of fact, not just my wife's family, anyone I know that's a Christian, I've never heard them call God a voice in their head. I'm pretty sure it's like unanimously agreed upon that if you hear voices, you have a mental illness. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're just making this shit up now. Here's the next one. Why Americans and the West are so afraid of being called Islamophobic. That's how Islam operate, by the way. When they are minority, they play victim. They portray a fake peaceful front. But anytime they agree for a gay and apostate to be murdered. So here's the kicker about this post. r/atheism, at least from what I'm seeing, is mostly a left-leaning board, politically wise. And I'll throw up screenshots here of a bunch of fucking posts that they've made where everyone's interacting with them that promotes a left-leaning agenda, right? So what does that have to do with this? Well, believe it or not, and whether you like it or not, it's pretty much undeniable that the political left, and especially the America, are the ones who post or propagate the whole inclusive, tolerant, that type of mentality, right? So what that means is when you don't agree with something they say, they call you blank phobic. And, or something like that, like misogynist, racist, sexist, Islamophobic, like those are the words that they throw out. So my point in saying all this is you have really no one to blame but yourselves for why people are so afraid of being called Islamophobic. Because people will ruin each other's careers, their entire lives, and their relationships by throwing these words out and fucking just lampooning people with these words. So do you want to know why people are afraid of being called Islamophobic? Because your group of people are the ones to blame for just lampooning people on every facet of social media. Everywhere you can get a media presence on, they'll go on there and say, this guy said this about blank group of people, therefore he's blank phobic, transphobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, that type of shit. Like, you have no one to blame but yourselves. Ooh boy, this one's like kind of a long one, so sit tight here. Can't stand my religious co-workers. Just as stated, stop talking about your religion at work. Stop it. No one around you wants to hear it or cares. No one gives a shit that you are praying for them when someone is sick or is having a problem. Maybe offer some human decency and comforting words or encouragement. Maybe share a personal story, how you can relate instead. Your obnoxious religious anecdotes like, it's all in God's plan, or everything happens for a reason, is pointless and completely trivializes a person's experience. Also, you have no idea what that coworker believes in or is comfortable with. You're just making assumptions. Religion does not belong in a workplace. Dude, what is wrong with you? Okay? That's kind of like the go-to, even for me, an atheist, when someone has a traumatic event or something very bad happen to them, I will say something along the lines of, I'm praying for you, or I'm thinking about you. Why does this upset you so much? You seem to be so, butthurt over someone saying that they're praying for them. Now, the only thing I'll give them some leeway on is everything happens for a reason, because I personally believe that's fucking bullshit. But everything else this guy was talking about, he's just like tripping because someone said they're praying for them. Like, bro, chill. Like, are you so cynical and self-hating that you can't even tolerate it when someone else has the nerve, at least in your opinion, to say that they're praying for them? Like, do you just hate yourself that much? Like, if I come up to you tomorrow and said that I'm praying for you, you're gonna, like, fucking kill me? You're gonna shoot me in the face with, like, a 9mm or something like that? Because that's the kind of vibes you're giving off right now. This post has almost 600 upvotes, by the way. Like, people in this fucking subreddit, I just really hate it when you say something, when you try to be a decent person, when you try to show someone that common courtesy like you were saying in your own post. I guess they really hate it when someone who happens to be religious says that, because that's their go-to, because they're religious. It sounds like to me that you're actually not tolerant at all of this person's religion, and it sounds like to me that you are the one trying to bring this discomfort around to other people in their workplace. That's my opinion, at least. But, you know, what do I know? You're clearly, like, you have genius IQ, and I'm just, like, some sub-90 IQ fucking dolt. And then it keeps going in the fucking replies. One dude replies with, "I came close to slapping someone once when they told me it's a part of God's plan." And then OP replies with, "I literally almost lost it on a coworker about an hour ago. I'm having some personal health issues and confided when they asked me why I wasn't at work on a day this week. All they had to say was, 'I'll pray for you. You never know what God's plan is going to be.' How dare they? How fucking dare they?" Bro, how dare you? You're saying how dare they like they just spat in your mother's face, burnt down your house, stole your 2-year-old son, and killed your dog in front of you. Like, honestly, how... I guess it's arrogance, really, to be honest. Like, how arrogant do you have to be that you are this upset that someone said they're praying for you? Like, I get it. The whole, you never know what God's plan is going to be, that is a little, like, annoying. But if it's making you this mad, you're probably mentally ill. I'm not even saying that to, like, get a jab in on them. Or I'm not even saying that to fucking, like, be a dickhead. Like, that's not healthy. If you are getting this mad over something, you have an illness. You have anger issues. You have some sort of mental deficiency. Because no one normal gets mad, this mad at least, over a fucking comment like that. That's like getting mad over someone calling you a dweeb, bro. Like, grow the fuck up. Okay, this is a really long one. I'm just gonna throw it up on the screen for a couple of seconds. I'm not really gonna read it. But basically this guy's a little annoyed that some religious practice was inside of a military ceremony. Some guy said something like, "God, thank you for these new chiefs," which is an abbreviation for a rank in the Navy. Now, for those who don't know, I am an active duty Marine, okay? So, we do formations all the time, we do promotion ceremonies all the time, and usually there's a chaplain out there for ceremonies, and he gives some sort of prayer, okay? Now, the post in of itself, I don't really have a concern with. This guy didn't say anything necessarily stupid, okay? The stupid thing is the top reply right now. This guy says this: "Same as in the army. Every graduation/promotion/holiday ceremony started and ended with some sort of prayer. I never bowed my head, rather I looked around the room to see who else wasn't bowing their heads. Lots of times I would see someone else looking around and we'd share a sup, nod." Okay, now, bro, the whole point of you bowing your head, even though you're not religious, is to show respect to the people who are religious. And this seems to be like a common trope within this subreddit, is that these people claim to be tolerant. Yeah, I'll throw up a couple screenshots here, people saying they're tolerant, but they seem to not be at the same time. Like, they're all just arrogant, cynical assholes who don't have respect for other people's religions. Like, I don't know if this is like a self-hating group, some sort of BDSM, like, hidden fucking subreddit, but, like, it's just so bewildering to see these people, like, interact with each other, you know? Like, this should have, like, its own documentary or some shit like that. This is actually fucking interesting. Here's the next one, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to make this a political video, but this one was just too silly to not include, okay? Here's the title. "Help me understand. Abortion equal murder, but death penalty does not equal murder. Can someone please explain this lunacy to me? I'm trying to make the point that if abortions are illegal, then a death penalty should be too. But the theist I'm talking with does not equate the death penalty with murder. Do any of you have any good retorts to this statement?" Okay, rule number 1, if you have to turn to the internet, let alone Reddit of all places, to get your arguments, you are not prepared enough to be engaged in this conversation to begin with. I don't know why you were trying to talk with this guy about abortion and murder versus death penalty as murder or not, if you weren't prepared for this argument. Like, that just seems silly, which seems to be a trend on this fucking subreddit. But also, the baby inside of the mother's womb has done nothing but exist yet. But the people on death row have hurt other people, usually a lot of people, and have done horrible, nasty, disgusting, depraved shit to other human beings, has put other human beings through pain and suffering. That's why you are allowed to kill those people, because they are a menace to society. They are a net negative to society if they are kept alive. Versus the baby who has done nothing yet. It took me like 30 seconds to draw that conclusion, and yet here you are making a post on a subreddit trying to get people's input. 1,000 comments worth of input, because you are unprepared for a debate. You probably got 30 seconds into the debate, and then got stumped with this question. Like, bro, you didn't have an argument ready already? Like, debate 101, motherfucker. This next one's so fucking stupid. What do you say when someone sneezes? I hate how the majority says bless you. I'm looking for something different to say. Bro, how fucking stuck up are you? Just say bless you, dog. Like, god damn. Holy shit. It's actually fucking mind-blowing how arrogant these people are. They think they're so fucking better than all of these Christian folks that they can't even say bless you when someone sneezes. That shit has probably been around for centuries. People have probably been saying God bless you when someone sneezes for literal centuries. And this guy can't fucking have it. Can't stand it. He can't do it. He's gonna fucking combust if he says it one more fucking time. I swear to God, if he hears it one more time, his head's gonna blow up to a million pieces. And then here we go on the replies with this, like, you know, the really quirky guy in high school that everyone had, or like in middle school, the guy who'd always do the weird stuff not everyone else does because it separates him from everyone else, you know, the I'm different type dude. Yeah, this guy says, I prefer to hear Gesundheit, which is German for health, I guess. That's what he's saying, at least. I'm not sure what it means. And I remember in high school, there was a kid who would always say Gesundheit whenever someone would sneeze. And he just did it because it made him unique, it made him cool, you know, made him different, you know, I'm not like the other guys type shit, you know, like, shut the fuck up, just say bless you, be normal, like, is that so hard? And I'm not saying that to this kid that took high school classes with me, I'm saying that to, like, everyone on this fucking subreddit. Like, be normal. I'm not saying forfeit your fucking atheism beliefs. I'm saying stop trying to be so wildly unique that you can't even say fucking bless you when someone sneezes. Like, holy fucking shit. Mind-blowing shit here, guys. Mind-blowing fucking shit. This one here is one of the... Oh, there go my batteries. Anyways, this one here isn't really ridiculous. It's not really silly. I just kind of want to commentate on some of the stuff here, because it borders on a little bit of the silliness side, you know. But this guy says, why do people become Christian? And long story short, he wants to know, why do you think people believe in God, and specifically Christ, okay? This guy says, indoctrination. Some people are resistant to it, but it works on most. I assure you, most theists never even ask, why do I believe in God? And, of course, I'm not speaking for every fucking Christian out there, every Catholic or whatever denomination you identify as. But I've heard my fair share of Christians, at least, and some Catholics ask themselves why they believe in God. And they usually point to an event in their life that happened that they believe came from God. They believe God saved them. They believe God helped them in that moment. In order to spare personal details, so I don't out any of my friends or anything like that, I'm not going to cite anything. But something has happened to them, and they said, God fixed it for me. And I get that. I don't necessarily believe that, me personally, but I understand where they're coming from. So I don't necessarily think this guy's correct. I'm pretty sure plenty of theists ask themselves, why do they believe in God? Believe it or not, r/atheism, a lot of Christians and a lot of fucking religious people aren't just brainwashed idiots. You know, they actually have a brain. They can think for themselves, you know. Some of them are brainwashed idiots, but most of them aren't, I would argue. But to kind of answer the original question, why do people become Christian? Because people want something to believe in. It helps them answer questions. It helps them cope with reality. This goes way back to Victorian era, Elizabethan era kind of living. They want something to believe in. They want to pin something onto something else, you know? Like, oh my god, this huge storm came out and wiped out 1,000 people. Well, they want something to rationalize it to. So God came about, okay? And of course, I'm not saying that God originated during Victorian era living, you know? But that's one of the more recent times in history where religion was kind of a big fucking role throughout the world. And people wanted to kind of just rationalize world events and why stuff happens exactly. Why does the sun come up every day? And why does it go down every day? You know, stuff like that. They wanted to just say, well, that's the doing of God. It makes people live their lives easier. They want to believe in a higher power. That's why people are Christian. That's why people are Catholic. And now we're just jumping right back into the stupid. The drag queen controversy. Just saw a Marco Rubio ad talking about story time with drag queens. Not sure why these events are a big deal for some people. No one is forcing your kid to attend a drag queen story time. At this point, it's just a political stunt to get votes. I can't believe people can be this stupid. Leave this fucking drag queens and kids alone with your stupid child groomer sign. Focus on the real child groomers that invest in your places of worship. I also found it ironic when I saw a Muslim protesting outside one of these drag queen story times, calling drag queens child groomers. I'm not well versed about what's going on when he's talking about this Marco Rubio ad, okay? But I kind of have an idea about drag queens, right? And one thing I wanted to harp on here is he says no one is forcing your kid to attend a drag queen story time. Okay, I don't give a fuck who says what. I don't care if God himself, if he exists and he comes down from the sky and tells me that kids going to drag queen events is normal. I don't care if God himself says it. If you take your kid to a drag queen event, that is like dereliction of duty for being a parent. Like, that is just almost child abuse. It's not fucking normal, okay? And it hasn't been normal. It wasn't normal for years and years and years, centuries and eons, up until like fucking 2019, it started to become quote-unquote normal, end quote. And yet, you wanna know why it's still vastly unpopular to be taking your kids to drag queen events? Is because it's not fucking normal, it's not good for them, they shouldn't be hanging around those people. That's like an 18 plus type shit. I don't care if they're fucking reading books to the kids. It's not healthy for them. And my other thing about this is no one is forcing them to attend a drag queen event. They're still bringing kids to them. It's like looking at heroin addicts and saying, oh, well, no one's forcing them to do heroin. Okay, motherfucker, they're still doing heroin, bitch. Like, what? I feel like these people just don't think. They just don't think. They just go on fucking Reddit and they say this shit and they're like, yeah, I just said the most intelligent shit since the goddamn golden age of fucking mathematics, you know? And they get this positive reinforcement by these absolute goons and troglodytes in the replies. Like, it's actually fucking mind-fucking. Also, let's put two and two together, okay? Drag queens, for the most part, is a type of sexual deviant behavior. Okay, that's inarguable. That's just kind of tied into being a drag queen, right? So, you would be hard-pressed to explain to someone that, oh, no, they're not child groomers. See, they just are just sexual deviants, but they're not going to groom your child, okay? They're not going to molest them or anything like that. Like, you could not reasonably explain that to me. Part of their job, if not most of it, is being a sexual deviant. That's kind of like tied into being a drag queen. So someone who doesn't know what drag queens are, someone who's out of the loop, you're not going to be able to explain to them that their kid is safe with them. Not reasonably, at least. Like, bro, use your fucking brain. I know your 2 brain cells are competing for 3rd place right now. But, like, can you just, like, duplicate one or some shit like that? Like, come on, bro. And to wrap everything up for this video, this one's a fucking doozy. The title. I think we need a concerted effort to oust religion from public life. I might have a radical opinion here, but as an American, I no longer believe that freedom of religion is so fundamental that it should be protected as a constitutional right. I'm gonna stop you right fucking there. Okay? What you just said is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen ever. This entire country was fought over religion. Not just taxes. Not just fuck the king because he was a tyrant. They came here to avoid the English church. Freedom of religion was one of the biggest reasons America was founded, and you just said that we need to get rid of it because you don't think that freedom of religion is that important anymore. It's not that fundamental. Like I said, I'm an atheist. That is one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever read. Ever. Do you want to know why religious freedom is so important to Americans? Do you want to know why that is such a protected thing? If you paid attention in, like, 11th grade history, you should know the answer, but I think it's evident that you didn't pay attention. Because if you did, you wouldn't be saying such ridiculous shit on the internet. In the 1600s, when the colonists fled England, they fled because of religious persecution under King James. That is why they left. Almost entirely, the reason they came to America was because of religious persecution. If we get rid of religious protection in the Constitution, almost the same exact thing, if not the same exact thing, could happen in America today if you got rid of religious protection. And you're out here calling for its dismantlement. Holy fucking shit. Mind warping. I feel like I just got hit over the head with a piece of plywood. I feel like I just got hit by a freight train. Like, this is... like, it's nauseating. He goes on to say, I'm not convinced that freedom of religion is necessary in a civil society. In fact, I kind of regard religion as a disease and a cancer that should be cut out of society and thrown away in the dustbin of history for good. Okay, check this out, Mr. Unknown Man on the internet. Your one belief should not be projected across the entire nation. You sound like a tyrant right now. You sound like a dictator. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing that that's kind of like nauseating about these posts, is it feels like they don't think when they say this stuff. They just think that their opinion's right, and they go out and they're like, we need to get rid of a constitutional right, and we need to remove it entirely from society. Like, do you understand how many religious Americans there are in the nation? Do you understand the aftermath that would ensue had you gotten rid of religion all at once? All because you think that your opinion's right, and you think you have the right to project it upon the world. Or the nation, in this case. But I'm pretty sure if you had it your way, you'd project your opinion upon the world too. Do you think? That's my question. Not even saying that to be a dickhead. I'm not saying that to get a jab in on you. Do you think before you post? Yes or no? And of course, I'm asking, like, rhetorically, because this guy's probably not watching this video and probably never will. I'm just curious if he thinks or not before he posts stuff like this. And it's not just him, it's almost everyone on these almost every single post we looked at, with the exception of, like, one. It seems like they just don't think, they just say shit. They just say shit and they're like, this is the way life should be. Like, bro. Hello? Like, if I knock on your brain, is there gonna be, like, a hollow noise? Is there, like, a little goblin in there that pulls some levers and, like, spins some gears in there for you before you, like, think? Do you know how radical you sound right now? And I know you said you might have a radical opinion. No, bro, this is a radical opinion. There is no if, and, or but, maybe. It might be. This is a radical opinion. This is ridiculous. This is like if I said, we should get rid of freedom of speech because I don't like some things people say. That's how fucking stupid you sound. The end of his post goes, I feel like atheists don't do nearly enough PR. Gee, I wonder why. I think we seriously need a major campaign to boycott religion, to protest it, call for its removal from society, tar and feather religious politicians, and release the stranglehold that the Christian right has on America. You just called for tar and feathering? Holy fucking shit. Yo, take me back to the 1700s right now really quick. Imagine this. You're going out, you're doing your thing, like, God has blessed this beautiful day today, and some dude comes up with tar and feather, boiling tar and feathers, and they pour it on you. And then they pick off the feathers on you. By the way, that's usually what happened. You die from that because they pick the feathers off of you. Imagine that. You're just going out, you're having a grand day, and you just wanted to bless your fellow peers, and someone comes out because he's not fucking normal, he's not sane. He comes out and tars and feathers you because he doesn't like what you're saying. And, of course, you know, that did happen in the 1700s with politicians. Politicians said some shit that no one likes, so they got tarred and feathered. You know what? I don't like shit that politicians today say. I don't advocate for them to get tarred and feathered. Do you want to know why? Because I'm fucking sane. I'm normal. This guy isn't. This guy is like a danger. He's calling for tar and feathering. Does no one see the issue here? 700 upvotes! These people are deranged. They're insane. Lock them up. Like, what the fuck? Put him in a ward or some shit. 733 people agree with this goober. Tar and feathering! In modern day. And you're wondering why atheists don't do enough PR. You're calling for tar and feathering in 2022 for religious politicians. You are nuts. You're insane. Do you want to know why you guys don't do enough PR? Because you're fucking radicals. At least this guy is. Atheists, fucking moderators on this fucking subreddit, people who frequent this subreddit. If anything, if you are going to do PR in the future, don't let this guy do it. He just called for tar and feathering. Like, holy fucking shit. And then he goes, the final bit of the post is, what do you think? Is this a worthy cause? What are the first steps one should take to further this cause? I'll tell you what I think. You're fucking stupid. Is it a worthy cause? No. What are the first steps that one should take? Nothing. In terms of what you're advocating for, nothing. This should be left to sit at the bottom of the barrel in some attic somewhere, locked up in a house, dusty as fuck, never to be seen again. Because what you just said is by far some of the most ridiculous shit ever. Period. End of story. There are apes with typewriters who write more coherent shit than you do. Like, my mind is frying. It's like a microwave right now. I feel like I'm sitting on the outside of a Chernobyl. Like, I'm just taking in all this fucking gamma radiation. My brain's a paste right now. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. Like, what do I do about this? Do I just sit here and like, oh, yeah, another average day on r/atheism? Is this normal? By the way, like I mentioned, this is my first time being on this subreddit. Is this normal? Is this like an average r/atheism day? Is this what people do on here? They call for tar and feathering? Like, what the fuck? You people are insane! That's gonna do it for now. I had a great time, actually. This was really interesting to see everything I've heard about this subreddit. I was not lied to about how people interact on this subreddit. People are just fucking nuts, I guess. And now, of course, there are some good posts. There are some people who are actually normal, who aren't fucking radicals, who aren't fucking nuts. You know, there are some normal people. But it's kind of shocking that most of the popular posts are from these unhinged maniacs calling for fucking tar and feathering or dismantling basic freedoms guaranteed in American society. This is fucking nuts. I will never be returning here. The only time I will return is to look at more of these unhinged posts from these schizophrenic maniacs who have access to a computer. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Bye-bye. See ya. Bye-bye.